He was just heading home, a regular guy minding his own business. No crime, no threat, just another evening. But flashing lights and shouting officers shattered the silence. Before he could even ask why, he was on the ground, cuffs tightening around his wrists. The officers smirked, convinced they had their man. But when they ran his name through the system, their faces went pale. Who was he? And why did his identity leave them speechless? Stay tuned, because this is the moment their entire world flipped upside down. Jamal Anderson was a man of routine, a decorated military veteran. He had served his country with honor and had since built a quiet, respectable life. That evening, he had just wrapped up a long day at work and was heading home, his mind on dinner, his family, and maybe catching a game on TV. The city hummed around him, a normal night like any other. But as he crossed an intersection, he noticed something. Flashing red and blue lights creeping up behind him. A patrol car, moving slowly, too slowly. He felt the weight of their gaze, the silent judgment pressing down. He had done nothing wrong, so why did his gut twist with unease? He was about to find out. The police car rolled to a stop beside Jamal, its headlights washing over him like an interrogation light. A second later, the harsh crackle of a loudspeaker broke the night air. "You! Hands where we can see them!" Jamal's heart pounded. He raised his hands slowly, confused but careful. Two officers stepped out, hands hovering near their holsters. "What's the problem, officer?" he asked, keeping his voice steady. But his words didn't matter. They were already closing in. "ID now!" Jamal reached for his wallet, every movement measured. But before he could pull it out, one officer lunged. "He's reaching!" A shove, a rough grip on his wrist. Then, pain. His chest slammed against the cold pavement, knees digging into his back. The weight of their suspicion crushed down on him. The street was silent except for the sharp clicks of handcuffs locking into place. Pedestrians slowed but didn't stop. Some glanced at the scene, their faces unreadable. Others hurried past, heads down. No one intervened. No one asked questions. Jamal gritted his teeth as one officer yanked him up. "You fit the description," the cop muttered. "Of what? A criminal? A suspect? A man walking home while black?" The patrol car door swung open and they shoved him inside. His heart pounded, rage bubbling under the surface. He had served this country, risked his life for it. And yet, here he was, treated like a threat. But they had no idea who they had just arrested. Not yet. Jamal sat in the back of the squad car, his pulse hammering. Through the metal grate, he watched the officers huddle by their cruiser, laughing, like this was routine, like he was just another number. Then one of them pulled out a phone, a quick tap, a name search, and then silence. Jamal saw it happen in real time. The officer's smirk vanished, his jaw tensed. His partner peered over his shoulder, eyes widening. Their postures stiffened, and the air between them shifted from smug authority to sheer panic. They turned to look at him, but now there was no trace of arrogance, only fear. They knew. Within seconds, they were on their radios, whispering in hushed tones. Jamal's last name carried weight, because he wasn't just some random black man on the street. He was Colonel Jamal Anderson, a high-ranking intelligence officer with direct ties to the Pentagon. He had the power to end careers with a single phone call. The realization hit them like a freight train. They had arrested not just a decorated war hero, but someone who could ruin them. One officer rushed to the car, fumbling with the door. His hands shook as he unlocked the cuffs. "Sir, this was a misunderstanding," he stammered. Jamal didn't move. He just stared, his silence heavier than any words he could say. Because he knew, if he had been anyone else, this misunderstanding could have cost him his life. Jamal stepped out of the squad car, his wrists sore from the cuffs, but his resolve unshaken. The officers, now pale and stammering, scrambled to apologize, offering excuses that meant nothing. "A misunderstanding," they kept saying, but Jamal knew the truth. If he had been anyone else, if his name didn't carry weight, his story might have ended in a cold cell, or worse. He didn't yell. He didn't threaten. He just stood there, watching them squirm. Because the real punishment wasn't in what he could do to them. It was in what they had already done to themselves. That night he sat in his home, staring at his military medals. The irony burned deep. He had fought for a country that still saw him as a suspect before a citizen. A uniform didn't protect him. A title didn't protect him. Only power did. But what about those who didn't have it? Because for every Jamal who walks free, there are thousands whose names don't send cops into a panic. Thousands who never make it home. And that's the real story. The story America refuses to face. So now the question is, how many more times before the world finally listens?